Hey, what's up? This is Harry Wagner from Harry's Situations, and today I want to talk to you about the perfect rim diameter for your 4x4. So we're going to discuss different diameter rims and how those relate to sidewall height as well. So on the truck behind me, I've got two sets of 42-inch Nitto Trail Grapplers. One is for a 17-inch rim and the other is for a 20-inch rim. Now Nitto also makes a 42-inch Trail Grappler for a 22-inch rim, a 24-inch rim, and even a 26-inch rim. Obviously, all of these have the same diameter, but they have a different sidewall height. We're going to talk about how that impacts your on-road performance, off-road performance, and your handling in both environments. So stay with us. Now you've noticed I mentioned Nitto Tires. Nitto was generous enough to donate both of these sets of tires for the truck behind me here. This video is actually brought to you by Nitto. If you like what we're doing, please subscribe to the Driving Line channel so you don't miss any of this content in the future. When you're watching this video, you will note that the 17-inch wheels are the darker rubbed bronze color and the 20-inch wheels are a gold color, but they have a bronze ring on them. But they are visually different, so you should be able to distinguish between the 17s and the 20s. Now the 17-inch wheels weigh 35 pounds a piece, and the 42 for a 17-inch wheel weighs 111 pounds. So that adds up to 146 pounds of rolling weight, a lot. Now if we go up to 20s, the wheels jump up to 45 pounds a piece, so 10 pounds heavier. The tire itself is 108 pounds, so only 3 pounds less. So slightly heavier for that combination, but really not a big difference in the overall scheme of things. Cost is another factor, so those 20-inch Trail Readies cost about $120 a piece more than the 17-inch Trail Readies do. And actually the Nittos for a 20-inch wheel cost about $100 more each a tire too. So if you're getting a fifth tire and wheel, altogether it adds up to almost $1,000 more. Just some quick specs on the truck before we get started. So for those of you that are not familiar with it, this is my 77 F-150. It's got a 460 big block, a ZF5 transmission, off-road design doubler with a 203 and 205. It has Super Duty axles under it, Deaver springs in the back, BDS coils up front, and 3-inch bypass shocks all around. So it goes fast, pretty darn well, and it rock crawls pretty well too. We're gonna do both of those and more today in this truck with both sets of tires. So we started with the tires at 30 PSI and we rolled over this log as a demonstration of how the sidewall conforms to terrain. So with both the 17 and the 20, we dropped it down in increments of 10 PSI to 20 PSI. And then to 10 PSI. For all these tests, we use the same log and we're in two-wheel drive, high range, first gear for consistency. You might be surprised to learn that both of these tires are a load range C, which means they have a maximum inflation pressure of 35 PSI. Now, even at 35 PSI, a 42 can hold a lot of air. So with the 17s, those tires are still rated at 25 pounds per tire. And for the 20s, they're rated at 3,750 pounds per tire. So you could have a 14,000 pound vehicle and still run these load range C Nitto 42-inch Trail Grapplers on it and have room to spare. Which, now that I come to think about it, my Ram with the slide-in camper only weighs 11,000 pounds. Maybe I need to figure out a way to fit 42s on it. One of the truths of posting videos online is that inevitably someone will say, you need to air down your tires. But much like the camera adds 10 pounds, it adds 10 PSI as well. In fact, these tires behind me are aired all the way down to 10 PSI, and while they still have a decent bulge, they're far from being flat. I'm old enough to remember when every 4x4 had 35-inch tires on a 15-inch rim, except for 1-tons, which had 16.5 rims, and I don't think any of us missed those. They didn't have a safety bead, you couldn't air them down. Now 17s seem to be the norm, and like a 37-inch Nitto Trail Grappler on a 17-inch wheel is super popular for, Jeeps, Broncos, trucks, just about everything. if you put it in perspective, that has 10 inches of sidewall, and even the 42s on a 20-inch rim have 11 inches of sidewall, so you still have more sidewall height even with a 20. Now, why do we see people going to bigger wheels, not just 17s, but 18s, 20s? Well, there's a few reasons. Number one, you can package larger brakes, which is a great thing for not only Ultra 4 cars, but really any off-road vehicle. This truck weighs 7,000 pounds. It's got 1-ton brakes on it. They do fit under a 17-inch wheel, but you definitely can't have enough brakes when you have 130 pounds of rolling mass going down the road that you're trying to stop. Now, if we think in terms of extremes, at one end you had the old 44-inch tires you could get for a 15-inch wheel, and at the other extreme you have something like a Formula One car where it's just like a rubber band around the wheel. At those extremes, with that big tire, small wheel, what I've found is, one, you sort of have sloppy handling, and two, when you're aired down on the trail, it's actually not great. I've seen circumstances where you're on a high traction surface, like in the rocks, you turn the steering wheel, the wheel will actually turn, but that tire has so much sidewall that the tire's not even moving, just the wheel's moving within it. So that can be a downside. I was also talking to my friend Sean. He mentioned he likes the larger diameter wheels because even if you're aired down to, say, the same pressure, you know, both are at 10 PSI, you'll have more ground clearance with that larger wheel because the tire doesn't bulge out as much as it does with the smaller diameter wheel. So those Formula One cars, the reason they have such a tiny sidewall, they're not using that as any of the suspension. They have a big wheel to package the brakes. They have a small sidewall because they want that real precise steering, but they're also not going over boulders. I mean, if they go over a pothole, it seems like a big deal to them. So it's a different situation, but still the laws of physics apply. You didn't come here for a physics lesson though. You probably want to see this truck in action and actually see which tires work better, the 42-inch Nitto Trail Grapplers on the 20-inch wheel or the 17-inch wheel. So let's put it through its paces in the rocks, on high-speed desert terrain, and on the street to find out. One terrain where we haven't been able to go today is the snow, being as we're shooting in summer. Now we could have gone to the sand, that would give us very similar results, but I would expect in the snow and in the sand, more sidewall is better. It's going to provide a wider footprint and allow the tire to spread out more, which keeps you on top of the snow or sand. So in the winter, my plan is to run the 42s on the 17-inch rims. All right, that's it for this episode. I think we learned a thing or two today about the different factors that come into play when you're deciding what is the best diameter rim for your 4x4 and what size tire you want to run. So not only does sidewall height impact things like steering and handling, but the diameter of the rim will determine what size brakes you can package. Terrain is a factor. If you're in soft terrain, you might want more sidewall. If you're at high speed, you might want less sidewall. Availability of tires is a factor. Cost is a factor. And maybe a few other things I forgot as well. If you can think of anything else that would be a factor in what size rim you want to run, comment below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching this Hairy Situations video on the Driving Line channel. Driving Line has all sorts of great content creators, and they're dropping new content almost daily. You're definitely going to want to subscribe so you don't miss any of it in the future. And we'll see you out on the trail. Bulge.